Hey! Hello? Excuse me, Warner E.G. said. He looked inside the car and found it empty. Warner was traveling through Tulsa, Oklahoma on Tuesday, the 23rd of January, 1934. Around 5 o'clock that evening, Warner ran out of gas. He took his gas can and went looking for someone that would let him borrow gas. Warner had been walking on North Sand Springs Road when he saw an automobile that was about 100 yards from the road. When he walked to it, he found that it was empty. Warner took a deep breath, blinked, and looked around. It was then that he saw a crumpled body about 20 feet from the car.
Faye Smith received a letter from C.M. Ballard, the vice president of the Williamsport Wire Rope Company. The letter informed Faye that his services were no longer needed. Faye asked the Tulsa branch manager, Mr. J.A. Dudley, if the letter was correct, and it was. Faye Smith returned to his apartment at the Sophian Plaza. His wife, Carolann, was organizing sheets of music in the living room. She was wearing one of her big hats and a black blouse. It was typical for Carolann to wear black. She greeted her husband with a question as he entered the living room. What did Mr. Dudley say about the letter? He confirmed that I have been laid off. Well, that Mr. Dudley still has his job. I told him that. You're the best salesman they have. You spent 2 years in Casper, Wyoming and a year in Portland, Oregon, getting business for that company, and most of that time away from your wife and home. Carolann complained. I told him that too. He reminded me that the economy has crashed and that there's no money coming in. So the company has no money to pay out. So that's it? He did help me get a job as a salesman for a life insurance company. At least we won't lose what we have. That job won't pay nearly as much as I was getting paid. In fact, it's all commission. We're capable adults, and you won't let us down. Besides, Beulah could be your first customer. Speaking of Beulah, we're going to have to fire your housemaid. Fire Beulah Walker? Nonsense. I don't have the money to pay her, Carolann. We will work it out. Beulah, she yelled, come in here for a moment. Beulah entered the room, and Carolann explained to her that Faye was now a life insurance salesman, and she had the honor of being his first customer. Beulah did not believe that she could afford that, but Carolann convinced her that she could pay a small amount out of each paycheck. Now put me down as the beneficiary. You need to be a relative to be a beneficiary. Well, we could be cousins. Carolann looked at Beulah. Actually, you look older than me. She can be my aunt. Put me down as her niece. You know, Faye said and then paused. What? Carolann asked. Never mind. Faye completed the paperwork on the $10,000 policy. That evening, Warner E.G. called the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office to inform them that he found a body. John Evans, the chief criminal deputy, investigated. The body was leaning over a 12-gauge shotgun. There was a gunshot wound in the left chest. A twig had been needled through the trigger guard. It appeared to be a suicide, where the victim had used a twig to pull the trigger while having the barrel aimed at his chest. Evans searched the pockets and found a note stating that a letter had been left at a post office box for the victim's wife. The body was that of Faye Harold Smith. His wife was Carolann Smith, and John Evans informed her of her husband's death. Evans found Carolann to be absent of emotion. She did not cry or act shocked. She had a poker face. When he asked her about the letter, she acknowledged that she had received it, but preferred to wait before opening it. Evans asked her why she preferred to wait. She said that she had hoped her husband would be found alive. Evans later talked to J.A. Dudley about the apparent suicide of Faye Smith. Dudley doubted that Faye was suicidal. Dudley provided Evans with the names of other people who knew Faye. Evans spoke with them also, and they also doubted that Faye would commit suicide. Evans was puzzled about the case. Why had Mrs. Smith not opened the letter? What did the letter say? Why was she so calm? Why was the body of Faye Smith leaning over the shotgun? Shouldn't the gunshot blast have knocked him backwards? Evans, however, knew that suicides were on the rise during the depressed economy. He also had other cases to investigate. Despite those things that puzzled him, he closed the case on Faye Smith as a suicide. Beulah Walker was nearly in tears when she entered the Sophian Plaza. She immediately went to the apartment of Carolann Smith and banged on the door. Carolann let her in. A few moments later, Carolann was yelling loudly and quoting the Bible verse, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." Beulah yelled back, "It's not false witness if it's true." Beulah swung the door open and ran out of the apartment. Carolann was behind her and yelled again, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." Beulah ran out of the Sophian Plaza into a road and was struck by a car.